You're listening to the Social Selling Simplified podcast. Stick around if you too are obsessed with learning things that actually work and believe that success leaves clues. We're all about identifying results-producing roadmaps and getting super clear on how to scale and grow your online business. From part-timer to president, social selling expert Ashley Shaw will help you connect the dots and take the guesswork out of what works to grow a social selling empire. It's time to hear from social selling legends, listen in on truthful conversations, and learn the best tips and tricks to reduce the marketing overwhelm so you can build the social selling business of your dreams. If you're ready to go all in, no holding back, and build the business you've always wanted, you're in the right place. Here's your host, educator, social selling guru, and fitness industry OG, Ashley Shaw.
Welcome to Social Selling Simplified. I'm your host, Ashley Shaw, and in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the 3 things I wish I'd done sooner to scale faster. So a little bit first about the landscape of my business and what it looked like and how I actually scaled and what scaling actually means. To start off, my business began about 5 years ago. I'd always been interested in online marketing, but really I had invested a ton of time learning different things and never really feeling like it was adding up. I think the best year we had was with an eBay business, and we were selling scarf rings. We were getting them made in Vietnam, and I think total with that business, we had done like $30,000 in a year. And that was like a part-time sort of side hustle. That was like the best that we had ever done. And it just felt like there wasn't really a secret sauce to success per se. I had no idea how we were going to scale it. And there were a ton of people that just started copying what we were doing. So there was it didn't really feel like it was like a secure business by any means. It just always felt like we were kind of grasping at straws and we were just getting lucky with things. So that's really the first phase of trying to build an online business. Despite what actually a ton of people believe, I was never a coach, like a Beachbody coach or anything like that. My experience came from, I worked for one network marketing company back when I was 17 or 18 years old. And it was actually Cutco. I was selling knives and I did it for a summer. And I really loved the product. I really, really did. But I found that the methods in which they were kind of going about it, it didn't really feel authentic. And I still did it because I was like, what else do I do? I guess I have to ask every person I meet with to sit down and write down all the names and phone numbers of the people that would allow me to do this demonstration for them too. So I just kind of went with it because I thought that's what everyone else did and that's what you had to do to succeed. I just did it for a summer and then I was back to school and on to other things. The rest of my sales experience came from working in physical, like brick and mortar fitness clubs and working my way up. I started as a part-timer, wiping down gym equipment, showing people how to use machines, to becoming the president of a fitness company on Vancouver Island. While I was, learning sales and training and doing all these things in the fitness industry, I was still very interested in the online world. But it wasn't until about 5 years ago, I had a dream in the middle of the night that really put into perspective for me what I should be doing. That dream was about what I'd called at the time the Fitness Leader Institute. And I thought if I could be a resource for people and bring leaders together to teach people what they needed to do to grow their business and to sell authentically, that would ultimately be a great use of my talent and a great use of really being in my lane and my passion. I started the Fitness Leader Institute about 5 years ago, and I put a ton of effort into it while working another job. And just every morning and night, I didn't have children. I was living on the west coast of Canada. Bill was living in Ontario. So he would come out every 6 weeks. But what it did allow me to do is have that time before and after work to really focus in on my business and not be, concerned about, I have to spend, I have an obligation to my partner, after work or before work. It was just like every 6 weeks, he would come down and we would spend like a week of, great time together. So it really allowed me to have that time to put into my business. So I'm very fortunate for that I had that opportunity. But what happened from there was that it took me about 3 years before I really knew what I had to do to scale the business. So I always think, when you're building a business, step one is like, you're just trying to figure out if it's viable. And you're like, okay, can I actually make money at this? Like, is this going to be profitable? Once I had figured that out, that is where these 3 things I wish I had done sooner really came into play. Because once I did these 3 things, I went from $10,000 inconsistent months to having our first 7-figure year. And that happened very quickly. It happened within a year. And I say it happened quickly. Like, this was obviously over the course of 18 years of investing in learning online marketing. When I say it happened quickly, I just mean that when I finally plugged into the right product with the right messaging and it really felt in alignment, everything came together. So I don't think it's something that, it's going to take a ton of time. I think that you have to be plugged into the right things. And then that's when you actually know something works. It comes together faster. Okay, so the first thing I wish I would have done sooner is hired a coach. Now, when I hired a coach, the cost of having him, it was a little bit, kind of take your breath away. And it was $10,000 to invest with him. But I knew with every fiber in my being and my body that I needed to do this. Like, there was no other way for me to learn what I needed to learn as fast as I needed to learn it, and that having a coach was the way. So I knew that this was going to be the fastest way for me to actually scale my business and to learn from someone that had already been there. So I took the leap, I hired my coach, and I went forward with it. And it really made a huge difference, definitely being not only accountable to somebody, because we had calls at the beginning of the mastermind, in the middle and throughout, that were basically like strategy sessions. And it really helped me say out loud what I wanted to achieve. But then also he helped me strategize on how I was going to get there. And I work really, really well with a coach. Like, if I'm accountable to somebody else, there's just this other gear that comes out in me. And then they save you a bunch of time because you're not repeating all the same mistakes. So I had coaches throughout my career in different areas, but never really a solid online marketing coach. And that was just something that was completely different, but made a huge impact. The thing with hiring Rick that made the biggest difference is being able to have the strategy sessions. And then throughout the month, we always had a couple of group calls where you could bring your challenges forward. And it just allowed you to not get stuck. So whenever you were trying to figure something out in your business, you could bring those questions to the call. And then not only would you have the support of the community, but you would also have the support of the coach. And that really helped to move things forward. This was the fastest I had ever moved in my business, being able to get the strategy set and then working alongside a coach to make sure there were no challenges that were holding me back. It's actually what has inspired me to develop my own mastermind to provide the same things for online coaches and reps, because that was the time. So I went from, this is where scaling really came into play. So I went from doing $10,000 inconsistently to $30,000 within 6 months. And then that year we had our first 7-figure year. So it was really evident that the biggest game changer there was actually having a coach that I was accountable to, that helped me set out my strategy as well as help me overcome any obstacles. Like, absolutely a freaking life-changing thing that I wish I would have done sooner and been ready to step into that, because it was definitely the difference maker in having a business that I wasn't sure if it was completely viable to absolutely having no question in my mind that this is what I should be doing.
Hey, Sarah here. I'm Ashley's editorial director and podcast manager, and I'm also her cousin. Most of us already know the painful stats on how many network marketers end up failing. It's because 99% of you have been totally left out when it comes to the crucial components successful network marketers and online business owners are implementing. Once you understand this, it'll paint a much clearer picture as to why you felt like you've been missing something and why you're still not seeing the return you should be for all your hard work. This is the missing key right here. The really successful network marketers have their own product offering in addition to their network marketing company's products. That's what separates them in a health and wellness market that's crazy oversaturated. And it's the only way you're going to stand out and cut through the noise nowadays. If you're not convinced, go look up the big network marketers that you look up to right now. Look at what they're offering. They all have something personalized that's in addition to the products their network marketing companies offer. Then they have a system that this additional offer is funneling new people into. Altogether, this product and system is the secret that's been keeping you where you are now and preventing you from actually scaling to the point where you're hitting 6 or even 7 figures per year. If you want more financial freedom and to build something for yourself that leverages your time, Ashley is hosting a free workshop called the 7-Figure Freedom Formula. Yep, it's completely free. And it's on Sunday, July 17th at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Go to ashleyshaw.ca/7-figure formula to read more about what she's going to talk about and get registered. That's ashleyshaw.ca/7, as in the number 7, figure formula. It's free and it's online, so you can sink into your favorite spot on the couch and take notes on how to avoid the biggest mistake most network marketers make, where you should actually be investing your time and money to build a 6 to 7 figure business, and where you're definitely wasting your time. The reasons 99% of network marketers don't get rich, the secret ingredient that's missing from your business that will finally let you scale, where to best leverage your time and money to build a 6 to 7 figure business, and how to do it as fast as possible, a simple formula that will let you get there 10 times faster than if you attempted it on your own, and of course, Ashley's 7-figure formula that will save you tons of wasted time because it sets you up on the path to financial freedom. So get over to ashleyshaw.ca/7-figure formula and get registered so we can see your face and get all your questions answered in the live workshop.
Okay, second thing is realizing a funnel was the way to build a business. In the past, I wasn't really sure exactly what I needed to do to build a solid 7-figure business. I thought that if I just sold products and I could get enough people buying them, that was ultimately the way that I would grow a business. And what I realized is that every solid online business is a funnel. There are various products throughout the customer value journey, and people don't just pull out their credit card and buy hundreds of thousands of dollars from you. There is a specific process that they do go through in order to move from your smallest offering to your largest offering. So having a funnel built into the business was definitely a very important aspect of actually being able to scale and actually being able to add ads to the front end to get more people seeing the business. I had thought in the beginning that maybe I could just rely on my warm market, but the truth is everyone runs out of leads at some point, and you do need a system in place to get cold leads and warm them up and then move them to a smaller, tiny offer or tiny product, something between $7 to $27, to then a bigger offer and then an even bigger offer from there. And you can ascend them up your ladder. Every online business needs a funnel because you do end up running out of people, and that will ultimately happen to everyone that is in network marketing. You will run out of your warm audience. So you need to have a system which is bringing cold leads in, warming them up, and you're able to convert them. So that's one part of having a funnel. The other part of having a funnel is moving people up your value ladder, because not everyone is just going to pull out their wallet and spend a bunch of money with you. You need to have various offerings along the way that get people interested, but are a safe gamble for them, right? Like, not everyone wants to just buy your core offer, which might be if you're a Beachbody coach, it might be a challenge pack. If you work for a different network marketing company, it might be something else that's hundreds of dollars. So you need to have smaller offers in between. And that's why it's really important that you have a funnel that you have control over. This is one of the biggest misconceptions about network marketing, is that network marketing alone will make you rich. And that is definitely not the case. That's why 99% of people fail at it. And you need to have your own offering built in to your funnel so that you have more control. So you can have a tiny offer, because most network marketing companies don't have those things built in. And also, you don't have a lot of control over your funnel if you are just using someone else's website. So you definitely want to have a funnel, because that's how you can scale. And you definitely want to be able to use Facebook, Instagram, TikTok ads to be able to scale and grow that business. So that is thing number 2. Okay, the third thing is mindset is 99% of the game. I never really, I think you can know something, but not really know something until you have a light bulb moment. So I sort of always knew that mindset was part of it, right? Like, you have to believe that you can be successful, but this was something completely different. Like, when I talk about mindset, I'm talking about the abundance mindset. And this is really the idea that there are so many things that can get in your way of, and it's really your thoughts, right? Like, what you think about constantly. Like, are you thinking that the universe is constantly serving you? Or are you always thinking, this is really hard, this is really challenging? And that is the tone that you bring to your business. When it comes to mindset, this is something I still battle with in terms of knowing what it's like to feel in complete abundance, even before it's happened. And that's the key. I remember in my coaching sessions and when I was in various masterminds, I remember answering questions, from my coach about, how would you feel if you had a $5 million business? I could already feel what that was like I was living and breathing in that already. And that is ultimately what helped propel me to build a business so quickly, is that I wasn't seeking, what would that feel like? I just already knew what it would be like to be there. So your mind, it's not fighting like, what is it going to be like? It's like, it's already operating at that level. So that's the, when you hear the terminology or the phrase before, like, act like you already are there, it really is, that sounds really simple to do, first of all, but there really is a difference that comes out when you are the person that you are aspiring to be. Just think about when you are, let's say you've achieved a major milestone in your fitness or health. You definitely act a different way than when you are in the stage of trying to get there. When you're trying, you're not fully committed and you're still wavering. Whereas when your mindset is absolute and in the state of abundance, you operate in a completely different way. And that's what I'm talking about. It is a completely different feel to your business when you already know everything is unfolding as it should be. And you are already there. You're already making the $1 million. You already have everything you need to be successful. There is no lack, in your life. One of the books that made the biggest differences for me was called Money Flows to Me Easily. And the author talks about the problem is we think there's a problem. And that sucks up so much of our time that it ends up actually pulling away from our business instead of adding to it. So those are the 3 things I wish I had done sooner to scale faster. That is absolutely, those are the 3 things that I am focused on now in my business to make sure that I am scaling as quickly as possible. And I know the things that make the biggest impact. So thank you guys so much for listening to this episode, and we'll see you next time on Social Selling Simplified.
Thanks for taking the time to level up today. If you're ready to commit to personal and professional growth, move forward, make money, and grow your health and fitness business, head to my free community on Facebook, Business Bootcamp for Fitness Coaches, so I can support you every step along the way. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and we'll see you right back here next week on Social Selling Simplified.